I'm loaded up on Sprecker's root beer, and I'm ready to go.
Loaded up on water in my cat
Wow.
safe mug. So I think the announcement and news that everybody watching needs to know is I did get a new cat. Her name is Gracie. She loves sitting on my keyboard, ruining my files, and drinking out of my water glasses. So that's why I've had to go wide.
All right, hello, welcome to TCG Buzz. That was a cool cold open for you. That was totally planned and rehearsed. My name is Jacob. This is Rhydon, aka Speedrobo, and we are here today to tell you guys.
Well, we're here to tell you about how Caster Chronicles has been doing, how it's been going. Last time we checked in, it was, I believe, right before the Kickstarter. Now the Kickstarter's ended, all the product's been shipped out, things have been going well, and we want to share not just what we've been doing so that fans of Caster Chronicles can know what's up and know what's going on if you guys haven't been like paying attention to the socials, but we want to share what we've learned and what we've experienced with everybody watching this. And that's always one thing that, we at TCG Buzz and even at Speedrobo Games always try to do. We try to include our lessons and our takeaways so that you as potential current or future game creators learn. And that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah, so if you don't know, maybe you missed the original episode we did, which you should go watch. Of course, it'll be linked to all that stuff. But I want to briefly explain, yes, the Caster Chronicles. If you don't know, that is a classic game that was made by Force of Will that we happen to be the two biggest super nerds on the planet about, that we acquired the rights to several years ago now and have made it our life's project to bring back to a new audience. And what's so exciting is we get to tell you guys that we did it.
Yeah, it's done.
Mission accomplished.
Put up that banner, red, white, and blue, mission accomplished. But for real this time, Caster Chronicles is once again a game that you can go buy and play right now. Well, you can buy some of the product. We'll talk about that. I think that's actually the first topic we do need to talk about. We sold out.
Not only did we sell out, we sold out twice.
Yeah, so we've sold out twice. So here's the full breakdown on that. We ordered a large amount of product for the Kickstarter, and we actually had it printed ahead of time. We estimated demand. We estimated raw, and it was more.
It's actually funny because 2 days before the Kickstarter launch, I called you in a frantic sweat going, buddy, we did not order enough stuff. We have made a big mistake. We need to order more. And we frantically hooked up the phone with our Chinese manufacturer, our factory we partner with. And we're like, hey, we made a big mistake. We need to print more. Fire up those printers. We need more, right? And thankfully, they were able to work with us. And
yeah, so we work with a company called Hopes, and they are very, very good. They are so friendly and communicative and extremely helpful in instances exactly like this. So yeah,
what's crazy is that wasn't even close to enough.
No, and that wasn't even enough. We literally doubled our print order once we, started seeing, early signups. And we ran through that pretty quick as well. And so we had to order even more. And we had enough set aside where we're like, okay, we can fulfill 2 more groups outside of this initial print run. There were basically three groups we were going to fulfill out of this initial print run. Our Kickstarter backers, they were top priority. Our game store partners, they were essentially second priority. If you were a game store and backed in Kickstarter, you were like priority 0. And then game stores that purchased product after Kickstarter, priority 2. And then priority 3 was we wanted some left over so people that missed out on all of that could still order on the website. So we had that. And out of the pool set aside for the game store group and the website group, we sold out of the packs for that within 24 hours, partially because one of our game store partners ordered just a huge amount of product from us. because they had so much demand from their customers, which is great, and we love that. So that entire customer base got served. And then we had leftovers on the website, and that went in a day. So we do have another run of the same Kickstarter packs, and everything's going to be identical to how they were in Kickstarter, coming from the factory that will be here late August, early September. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But because of how fast we needed to get this done, we weren't able to do any changes to this restock. So it's effectively just another 1,600 packs of the exact same initial Kickstarter.
I'm very excited to talk about how we sold out, and we increased our print run, and we still sold out, and we are probably going to sell out again, right?
Almost
But
certainly.
for the moment, I want to just take a moment to talk about like what we've been doing in the past few months to get to that point, right? Where has our time been spent, and what things have happened in our community since we first said, hey, we're bringing this thing back if anyone cares. You probably won't, but we'd really like it if you did. And turns out people do care, right? First of all, we took the game to Origins Game Fair, had a huge success there. We nearly sold out of everything at Origins as well. That's another count of selling out.
Yeah, at Origins, we sold out of all of the collector sets. We still had some packs and decks left over that we actually used to like get some early shipping ready for the Kickstarter.
We also had what, if I may pat myself on the back here a little bit, an amazing media run. We had a lot of different channels we talked to, reached out to, and sent custom packages to that received them, did videos on the game, talked about the game, played the game, and had a great time with it. And that just made me feel really, really amazing. I'm sure it did for you as well.
It felt less good for me because I am always a give credit where it's due man. The entire influencer media kit was all this guy. It was all Jacob. I didn't have anything to do with it. It was completely his brainchild. And we had multiple, like, very close YouTuber friends of mine tell me, hey, this is the single best demo media kit from any game we have ever gotten ever. This is now the gold standard. And that's what we want. We want to be able to, like, we understand that we are still a very small company. We are two guys in two different basements. Okay. Like we're still at that point.
I'm on the second floor.
All right. Moving up in the world for Jacob. But
no, we'll talk about this more when we come to like the lessons we've learned and almost like failures we've had along the way.
Yeah.
One frustration people have had with us is that we have that small business mindset. We're not the types to flood the zone and go, we're going to the moon, boo, 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 and being bankrupt in 6 months, right?
Right.
That's
exactly.
not the type of game we're running. So we do play things a lot more cautiously and careful. And sometimes when people are wrapped up in excitement, that can be frustrating for them.
Yeah, and to be honest, sometimes our cautiousness absolutely can backfire as well, which I'm excited to talk about. But with the media kit, like what I'm saying is I'm glad we were able to sort of like push the entire industry forward, set new bars for expectations that I hope other companies out there will follow. And if you're a friend of the channel, if you're a friend of Speedrobo Games, and you want some pro tips on how to set up a media kit like we had with Caster Chronicles, just shoot me an email, bro. I'm happy to tell you what's up.
Next update, just a couple of days after Origins Game Fair ended, we wrapped the Kickstarter. On Kickstarter alone, we raised $45,000, I believe, roughly.
Yeah, a little bit under.
$45K. Yep.
A little bit under.
What I want to say with that is we actually had people say, oh, shame you didn't raise more. And we're like, so we're not going to go into specifics, but that's significantly more than we had planned to earn, right? We went into things again very cautiously, very we're not going to dump millions of dollars into funds. In fact, the media marketing we did of sending out free little promo kits with custom caster tokens to people, that was all the marketing, paid marketing we did. Like, that's the list.
I think we might have like, didn't we have like some deal with Google where we put in like $100 to get nothing? So
We literally we did have like a promotional credit thing like that. We put in a little bit of money, and a day later said, this is not working and is stupid. Why are we doing this? And we stopped. So we're
like,
not spending our money on that. We'd rather spend that money on more print runs and just doing cool things for the fans.
and I think that's part of what makes me so happy about the lessons we've learned with Caster Chronicles is like we had some like preconceptions going in, and we tried breaking out of our mold, like with analytical marketing, with Google marketing, because we've talked about on this channel before of like that just doesn't, we haven't seen benefit from it, and it's just here's more evidence to that. So like that was it was a failure on that marketing, on the Google marketing, but it was nice to see. And no, like when we went to the Kickstarter, we had much lower expectations because Caster Chronicles is a niche game that did already die. And I have no delusions of otherwise. But the fact that we went in wanting to expand the fan base, we went in believing we could, we just didn't realize how much that would actually happen.
Right. We actually have a lot of our really, really active members of our Discord community right now are people who had no knowledge of Caster Chronicles as a brand before we came around and were talking about it. And that's really cool for us because we've seen in real time as people get into the game, starting with, our new products at the tip of the iceberg, they've dug down and go, oh, did you guys know about this really obscure promo that was Japanese only that was released in 2018? And we're like, well, yeah, we knew.
Right.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. It is. It's really cool. I love, I mean, we've talked about it all the time, but this really is just such a passion project for me. And I love seeing people get to enjoy a game I loved so much on its first run and getting to sort of like re-experience that. It's super magical. And speaking of, just a quick, another thing that went well, we delivered on time for the Kickstarter. We said
a Kickstarter? First of all, delivering on time.
I know.
But
I know. Listen.
Hang on. I'm doing the math here.
Mm-hmm.
We ended the Kickstarter in June.
Yep.
In late June.
Late June, and everything is shipped late July.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that we planned ahead and did our print runs early so that we could get our product to our backers at the earliest convenience possible?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. It worked. It really worked. And for the most part, we've been getting really positive responses back. People are liking how the cards are printed. The foils are beautiful. The deck, the boxes we did, I think are what, funny enough, the boxes I think are what I'm most proud of, because those things just work as storage and board game boxes. And the magnetic flip lid box is something I'm really, really proud of. Some of our customers have gotten tripped up on you're supposed to take the, cardboard inserts from the dual decks out, and that's how you assemble the collector's box. But that was one of those little details that I'm still really proud of to this day.
You mentioned the print quality, and I want to say our print quality was far exceeded my own expectations, right? The classic triangle of cheap, quality, right, and fast.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to be able to break that.
We did. I'm saying it. This is a little bit of a pat on the back, but I think we did.
Yeah, we're not trying to brag too hard in this episode, but we really are proud of what we've achieved. I had a conversation with some of my local buddies when I had first brought my Kickstarter, because I backed the Kickstarter myself, right? I paid money for my cards because I want to see this project grow, right? I'm not going to, take from the well for my own benefit. The stuff that's right there, it's a little messy today. All that I paid for at full retail price, right? And I brought it to my local friends and I was showing off the cards, and we had a conversation where we're like, it's really amazing that I'm, me, a guy in my not basement, right, are able to quickly print cards that are of better quality than Magic the Gathering significantly
Yeah.
and cheaper.
Yeah.
That's
It is a
that's the
great.
power of being like a small to mid-sized game developer, and we don't have shareholders we're responding to. We don't care about profits to that degree. Our goal profit-wise for this game is, does the game still exist? Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly. It like our how I like to describe it is our shareholders are the customer, right? That's who we're out here to please, you know. And that's our goal. But and speaking of the customer, we have had a ton of people actually playing the game. Our
Oh yeah.
first big online tournament that we ran had 14 signups. That is, I can't stress. I know that doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, but for like a niche game made by a tiny studio like this, that is great numbers. That is an awesome turnout, and I could not be happier with
It's
it.
even better than that because, one, we had multiple people who said, "Oh, I would participate. I'm just happen to be busy for this one," as happens with any online event. But we had quite a few
Absolutely.
people who it just said, like, "I can't make it to this one, and I so wish I could." Right.
Mhm.
But also, two, did you mention we didn't do like crazy huge prize support for it? We weren't like,
Yeah.
yes, here's $10,000 bribe to come play our game, right?
So our prizes were just coupons for our web store to get like free keychains.
Yeah.
And like the top prize was, here's a $25 off coupon.
The meta is healthy, it is fun, and people are still discovering new deck. You and I, as like, you are officially the gameplay designer, right?
Yes, sir.
And I am the gameplay director. I should use your proper title, right?
Yes.
And
I'm
I
the
am the
director.
director, right?
Yeah.
But what was so fun and sometimes frustrating with that is we've studied the future metas. We studied this set one dual deck meta, a year ago when we were designing it, right? And there were decks and concepts and combos we figured out back then that the community still hasn't figured out. And you so desperately want to tell them, right? But that's
But
not
it's
the
more
fun
fun.
thing, right? It's
Right,
more fun
exactly.
to let the meta develop over time and let the community figure these things out and figure out what the cool counters to that meta card is, or that really cool wacky 2-card combo. Like, we could spill the beans on all of them, but where's the fun in that?
I loved getting to see what won in this tournament, because I'm going to be honest, it's not what I expected. It's not what I expected at all. The number one played element was Ignis. I did not anticipate that. I will just
I've been
say,
saying since day one people were sleeping on Ignis. I've been saying.
Ignis is good, dude. Ignis is really good right now. That's the one you gotta watch out for. That's the one you gotta watch out for. I was expecting, and what was interesting is I was expecting for us to see a lot more people playing Void, because in the Discord server, Void's been hyped up a lot. People are like, Void's really good, Void's really strong, and it is. I
It
think
is very strong, yeah.
Void is
But
an incredible color right now.
mhm.
And so the top deck was actually Void and Ignis together, but you didn't really see a whole lot of Void decks performing that well, or even in the tournament outside of that. And I thought that was super interesting.
I think there's a lot to be seen with the meta. Unfortunately, the meta has to move on because we do have set 2 coming out pretty
Yes, we do.
soon, which also means our next big online monthly tournament is moving on to set 2 format to prepare people for nationals coming up. So set 1 meta is getting sunsetted fairly early because of that, just the nature of things, right? But I'm so excited for set 2 meta. People don't know, man. People don't
Set 2's
know.
actually been up in playtesting for a while. And fun fact, right now, you can go to speedrobogames.com and you can check out all of the cards in set 2. And I think you'll really enjoy that. So go check them out and see which ones you like. And the last thing I want to say about our Kickstarter delivery and all the people that are happy, we work really closely with the original creators and rights holders for the Caster Chronicles, TCG Co.
Yes.
They are wonderful people, wonderful business partners. I love working with them, and they have been thrilled with what we're doing. We keep them in the loop on everything we do. We show them everything ahead of time, and they've just been over the moon with everything that's been going on. And that means a lot to me as a creator because I'm kind of the baby-faced kid in the relationship, to be honest. I've been in this business a lot less longer than most of the people at TCG Co. And like I've gotten to hang out with two of the women that helped make Force of Will. I keep saying it, I have to keep hammering this home. It is incredible that I've gotten to hang out with the assistant art director of Force of Will and the overseas events manager for Force of Will. They now work at TCG Co. and they're my main contacts.
Yes,
And they
and I got to hang out with them fairly recently myself for the first time, and we sat there for far too long, literally just flipping through a Caster Chronicles binder together, nerding out about cards and them talking about their own. They talked about their own frustrations with the original Caster Chronicles run with balancing censorship, and I was just like,
yeah,
oh,
us
really?
too. Yeah,
Us
exactly.
too. You know.
It's never gonna end, no matter what. Even like, years down the line, even if we're done, Caster Chronicles moves on, changes hands once again, whoever is running the game in the future is gonna have the exact same struggles with the artwork, with everything. Because it is hard. It's one of those things where,
It's
you just accept that not everybody's going to be happy, and you just do
Yeah,
your best.
there is no right answer. I think we've struck the best balance that is possible, much like with everything we do with Caster Chronicles, where it feels like we are always weighing two sides and trying to like balance it to the exact perfect position where we're getting the best benefit with the least number of drawbacks. And
Hmm.
that's not going to make everyone happy all the time, right? But we do what we can. And a lot of that is smoothed out because of, and this is a big thing relating to the Kickstarter delivery and our community building in general that I would like to praise our entire team for, you, me, Muchi, and our moderators as well. We have been praised a lot, and this is praise that I do really care about, for our communication. The fact that we're open, we're available, and we're directly talking with the community, taking feedback, talking with people, talking through any issues, responding as quickly as we can. As TCG fans ourselves, we know how rare that is in our industry. I played in my earlier content creator days. I was a big like Bushiroad and Bandai guy, and you're not getting a response from them ever. You're not talking to their director and their gameplay director, right? You're not doing that. You're not getting random 3 a.m. teasers of new cards and concepts because one person in the community was said, "Hey, it'd be cool if you guys did this thing," and we go, "Guess what? We've been planning that for 6 months."
Right, exactly. You don't, and like, I am the gameplay director, and I'm also, the CEO of Speedrobo Games. So there's a lot of other, behind the scenes like logistics stuff that I help handle, and you don't, for larger companies, you just don't. The CEO just is not hanging out in the Discord server with the community. That's just not a thing that happens. And I'm glad that we are in the position where we can do that. Because, like I said earlier, our customers are the, we don't have shareholders. It's just you guys. It's just the customers. And we care what you have to say. And I hope that over the course of us handling this relaunch and reboot of Caster Chronicles, we've proven to you that when the community says something, we listen, we take it very seriously, and we do take action. You might not see that action right away because there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that we have to discuss, figure out,
Mm-hmm.
find that course of action. And so it might take a minute for us to have that direct response to the feedback and announce exactly what we're doing. But every time we get feedback, Jacob and I are in a call, basically just like this, just not recorded. And we're talking about like, okay, this happened. Somebody said this. What are we going to do about it? And we're always listening.
If
Always, every time.
anything, I think 2 years from now, we're going to look back at us from set 1 era Caster Chronicles and go, God, those guys were idiots. Because of the fact that we are always trying to improve. We're not resting on our laurels with set 1. Set 2, we'll talk about it, is bringing some pretty dramatic improvements, upgrades, and changes thanks to fan feedback. Set 3 Beyond and other products that we're not allowed to talk about quite yet go crazy with new changes. Every set is an evolution for us. So it's going to get to the point, much like it feels for me when I go back and watch 10-year-old YouTube videos I was in. It's like, wow, that was great, and I'm proud I did it, but I'm so excited for the places we're going for in the future.
Well, you know, and for me, it's like, I know that in 2 years' time, I'm going to look back at this video and be like, this guy was stupid and had no idea what he was doing. What a terrible gameplay director. Because I do that with System Gate. System Gate, my card game that's been going for 6 years, still going. We just launched our new starter kit. And I look back at what I did 6 years ago, and I'm like, I was bad at my job.
I guess since we're talking so much about being excited for the future, you want to rip off the Band-Aid and talk about our future plans, just jumping our script entirely. We've got
Let's
an outline
jump
of
the script entirely. Let's talk about what's next. So, you know, we've already talked about EXO2 Gifted Program. That's the next expansion pack that is going to be releasing this fall. According to our production schedule, that should be done and in our warehouses in October.
Pending world events.
Pending any world events. So
we got to give that disclaimer every time we talk about our future timelines, because that is one part of our process we do not control, you know?
Right. And this is, you know, something that I've had to get used to, right? Now that we are a larger company, like we were like really tiny, and now we're just like regular size tiny. So we're manufacturing a lot more in bulk with printing partners overseas, where normally I'm used to manufacturing everything in our Mattoon printing facility and having more like literal hands-on control over the process. And, you know, we've just had to relinquish some of that control.
We've done that larger scale printing before for some of our games, right? Necromancers is an example where that was also a big step up for us on the ladder, where that was a big step up. We had a genuine large factory made print run of that game, very high quality, right? As an example, the difference for Caster Chronicles is we are continuing to do so on a time scale with each new release. And that does change things. That's not something we're inexperienced with necessarily, but particularly, you know, regarding the chaos of the world and also our timelines changing because, oops, there's this thing that we messed up in the print lines for this set that we have to quickly change. And how long is that going to take to change, you know, that one piece of text or whatever? Oh, a month? Oh, yeah. Okay, you know.
Right. And then we kind of have to, you know, figure it out from there if like, because a month's delay is probably not good, but we'll talk a little bit more about that, you know, in a minute. But the next thing that's coming with those with Gifted Program. So Gifted Program is going to be here before probably the World Tournament in late November at Board Game Geek Con 2026 in Dallas, Texas. And the other thing that's going to be available is the promised master sets, because that was a piece of feedback that we got during the actual Kickstarter run of, hey, packs are cool, but we want to just buy a brick all in one go. And we were like, all right, we'll do that.
What's cool with that is that's something we wanted to do already, but it wasn't a high priority with us because, again, we were trying to follow the triangle. And part of that is as few different products you can sell, the better. And we had been talking internally, like, yes, this is something we absolutely want to do a few months down the road. But then we got public feedback of, why don't you guys have these? And it's like, oh, well, we were planning on it, and we've talked about it a little bit casually in the Discord, but a lot of people aren't seeing that, right? So being able to actually publicly be like, yes, these are a thing, they're going to be a thing. If you want to just spend X number of dollars and just get a full playset of every single new card being introduced, you can do that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And master sets of EXO1, the Bell Tolls, will be going on sale at the same time as gifted programs. So that's what's immediately coming up next. And then starting, kicking things off in 2027, our New Year's product, so to speak, is going to be 2 new dual decks. That's right. We're not just doing expansions. We're going to constantly do new dual decks. I love the dual deck product. It's been very well received, and it is my favorite way. I love putting cards in a box. What can I say? I'm a cards in a box guy. And so I'm thrilled to announce that
we have not talked about this. This is one of those like 10 different things we have on the back burners that no one's heard about yet. This is the world premiere announcement right here.
World premiere announcement. Dual Deck 5 is going to be titled Saya's Adventure, and it is going to feature decks based on and themed around Saya Matsui and Glow Desire from the webcomic. And Dual Deck 6 is going to be titled Battle of the Bands, featuring the much-awaited return of Magical Dream 7 and Tengu 48.
We're getting idols. We're getting Saya and the manga content, like actual like important lore stuff to Caster Chronicles and idols. Who doesn't like idols?
Everybody loves them. We like legitimately. I can't stress enough how many fan favorite characters. You know the ones I'm talking about. You know the ones I'm talking about. Twitter specific. That's one. You know, if you guys know, you know. But they're all coming back. They're all coming back. We're super excited for that one. And we actually have some card spoiler plans lined up with some of our content creator friends. So they will be unveiling the cards available in these products for you in the very near future.
And again, these are not the last product, but they're close to the last product that you and I had fully been working on before we made the original TCG Buzz video. There's 1 or 2 things after them, but it's really wild because like they went from very early, just in a spreadsheet a year ago, right, to something actually happening now, and that's so cool.
It is really exciting news. Yeah, so I think now is the time. I think that covers all of our future topics. So now's the time to say, hey guys, here's what we messed up, and here's what you can learn from. So I want to open this up by talking about, I think our big number one mess up, and we've already talked about it a little bit, is we sold out. While that's a good thing, that's also a goof, because it would have been nice to not have to like emergency reprint the expansion packs for the 3rd time. That would have been great. It would have been nice to just have that all ready to go. And this is kind of the trade-off, right? And this is something that I want, and this is where I'm really going to be talking to, hey, rookie indie dev, first-time dev, keep this in mind, because this is my lesson that I learned from this. While printing the product in advance based on estimates is great for a lot of reasons, it means that people got to play the game basically right away. Kickstarter closed a month later, they have the toy. Who doesn't love that? But the downside is you can really screw yourself if you don't order enough to meet that Kickstarter demand, and we were really close to screwing that up.
The opposite is even more frightening. We are terrified, as everyone in our industry should be, of printing too much.
Yeah.
Right. It is we are on a knife's edge with printing, and we were teetering over to one side really bad, almost lost our balance. Right. And thankfully we've corrected it as well as we can. Right. And that's good. And I think we've done a good job at communicating exactly how that's going on to our fans. Right. But it's also, one of those things that if you're not someone in the trenches on the inside, doesn't seem like an actual issue. But I want to say one of the things we stressed out over the most were our print runs. The numbers we chose were not arbitrary. We spent hundreds upon hundreds of hours sorting through specific price quote spreadsheets to get the best bang for our buck we could for our customers. And being able to guesstimate those numbers. I mean, we're talking, you and I were doing initial print run discussions before the Caster Chronicles Discord existed, right?
It was one of the first things we were talking about when it came down to like hardcore things, because and while, you know, the getting the best bang for the buck for our customers does genuinely matter to me, I also have to be the cold, ruthless businessman and just come out and say, cold hard facts is we are a small company on a budget. We have to be really careful to make sure that we have the capital to place these orders, and we don't, and like, because if we order too much, it is a cascading problem. Actually, this is the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that if you order too much and you're sitting on too much inventory, that isn't a one-time expense and just, oh, I ordered too much, teehee. No, you have to pay storage fees now. You have to figure out, because it's
taking up space.
You're taking up
paying
space.
More for shipping.
You're paying more for shipping. It is an
you're able to
problem.
buy less of the next set.
Exactly. It becomes an exponential problem, because even if you're just like, oh, I'll just store it in my garage so it's free. Okay, but what if the next set doesn't sell? And what if the next set does? Now you're just, it becomes like nightmare mode so quick. And part of what made me so scared about this is actually, this is a lesson I learned very young in my career when I was working with the Argent Saga team. I watched in real time as unsold booster boxes made it slowly impossible to walk through the hallways of that office. So be careful. And
Yep.
we managed to make it work, but it was close.
Right. And I want to be clear, that is not us saying we love artificial scarcity. This has benefited us. We're not the type who are like, you know, the big boy companies who are like, yeah, you can't buy our products. Good. No, our thing is, yeah, we didn't print enough maybe of X or Y. We will eventually. If you want our product, if you want that booster pack, you want that dual deck, you will get it. We will print to satiation. It just sometimes takes time, you know?
Right, exactly. Printing is going to take time. And, you know, to talk about this specific restock of the Kickstarter packs that are coming in, and this kind of flows into like the next mistake. There's one card in EX01 that had her attribute changed to something different because we caught that error super, super late and we just weren't able to fix it.
Yeah, what a weird... This clearly, you see, again, as a back-end person, I totally understand what happened. When you were designing the final card frames, you didn't update the attribute from the previous card you had just designed.
That's exactly what happened.
Yep.
It was a templating error.
So what ended up happening was one of the cards ended up with a complete wrong attribute, and it was just an oopsie that we had to fix. And it happened later than the other erratas we had to do. We'll talk about those. Right?
We'll get to the erratas, but I just want to make it clear to everybody that this restock of packs coming in is identical to the Kickstarter ones, except for one. There's one goof in the Kickstarter ones that shouldn't be in this one, but the actual like cards inside are going to be the same as Kickstarter ones, so there is still that one error. But for any future print runs, including the master sets that are coming with set 2, and when we sell out of these packs, we are going to print more set 1 packs, because if you guys buy them, we will just make more. Any future printings from this point forward will have fully corrected everything and be just all set to go. But I just want to make it clear, this is basically just another run of Kickstarter. Yeah, but let's talk about the errata. So while this is all me, this is a Speedrobo, right on Mr. Speedrobo Kergoofle, start to finish. I take full responsibility. This is me. So we had one card in one of the dual decks that was a little too spicy, was a little too push. I own that. Haster was too good. Uh,
I don't get to do this often, so let me do it publicly. I told you.
you told me.
I
You
called
told
it.
me. You told me. You told me. That was all you.
First time we played in Tabletop Simulator, I said, this card's going to need to be errata. And he said, nah, it's fine.
I was like, nah, that's fine. I was like, nah. No, that was me. That was me. I screwed up.
Cut
Whoops.
to 6 months later in development. It's like, yeah.
Oops. That was me. That was all me. That was all me, gang. That was on me. I'm sorry. That was official. This is officially me. I am sorry, everybody. I goofed that card. So he has been changed from enter to last words. Cool. One keyword change, super simple. Everybody who ordered the Kickstarter dual decks should have been sent your errata cards with that. This is another goof because the errata packs come separate from the dual decks, and we had to like hand pack them because we had to order the errata cards in a panic separately from a different printer than the Kickstarter run to make sure that they showed up at the same time as the Kickstarter run.
Well, yeah,
Some people...
I want to talk about that real quick, actually.
Yes.
Because you said this was on you. There is one bit that is my fault in this.
Okay.
Which is... We did errata these cards, right? There were the 3 that were power level changes that we made because they were actual like cards we wanted to change, so they didn't affect future card designs, right? And then there was the 1 typo, right? That's separate from the other 3. We're talking about the main 3 cards, Irie, Ran, and Haster, okay?
Yes.
Erratas happen. What was my fault is we had internal discussions about, hey, are these cards a problem? And I stayed out of them. You were working on it with some of our playtesters and blah, 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 blah. And you came to the decision at that time that they're not a problem that needs to be addressed right now. What was my bad was I disagreed.
Yeah.
But I was busy. I was dealing with our marketing at the time. This was right when we were launching the Kickstarter, right when we were talking to a bunch of different creators and having regular conversation with them. And I was overworked and overwhelmed, and I stayed out of it, right? Especially since you're gameplay director, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what was happening at the time is I cannot stress enough how much playtesting I was doing with these. And with Haster was one of those cards where I was always like, this guy is watch list, okay? This guy is like, he's right. He's on the knife's edge. And I was always like, he's on the knife's edge. I just don't know if we need to pull the trigger on changing him because everything is like in production right now. And that's going to suck. And then with the other 2, Ran and Irie, they didn't get changed because they were too strong in the like dual deck set 1 meta.
In fact, they make basically no difference, right?
There's no like
the dual decks.
In the dual decks, there's basically no change. Yeah. As Irie, there's literally, like, if you just play Irie's dual deck, you can play the original one and it will work exactly the same because everything in her deck is sweets. But these 2 we changed, and I completely agree with Jacob's call on this. This was Jacob's call. And he talked to me about it, and I was like, you are correct. I am wrong. We need to make this change. They just killed too much design space going forward, right? It's not that they were...
My mistake was waiting to come and discuss it.
Exactly.
I let a couple weeks go by that we could have used. It would have been awful for us production-wise, right? But we theoretically could have updated them in the card packs. But I waited because I was sitting on it, ruminating, and really thinking it over. And ultimately, I came to the decision, no, we need to do this. And especially if we're doing this, we're doing all of them. Because the big discussion was, what do we errata? How much of these? And I said, no, if we're doing this, especially this far into the process, let's rip the Band-Aid off and make sure the game is as healthy as it can be going forward. Because remember, our core goal number 1 is to make sure this game still lasts and exists 3, 4 years, 5, 10, whatever it may be years from now.
Exactly.
Sustainability is goal number 1.
There is one thing I do want to correct you on. By the time we did start seriously discussing these erratas, it was too late to get these into the dual decks no matter what.
Yeah, probably. I
know because I checked.
No, what we could, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but like even like even at the point where we were like seriously like, okay, these changes are like we got to really look into this. It was everything was in production. Like if we were going to do these errata cards, we would have to have gotten them printed in, in our US facility, which is where everything ended up getting printed for the errata packs. But back to the other thing I was saying is if you order the dual decks with these in, you should have gotten the errata cards. Some people in the Kickstarter have gotten reports of some people in the Kickstarter did not get their errata packs. That is also a me goof because those aren't listed. Okay, so the errata packs aren't listed in the Kickstarter like shipping list of things that need to get packed in. So when my assembly team and I are assembling these together, they're looking at that list, and keep in mind, we've been assembling, 100+ orders. We're blurry-eyed. We've been going for 8 hours. Somebody checks the list and just fills out the list and then forgets, oh, by the way, if it says DDO2, you need to include these specific cards from this errata pack, right? Because the errata packs are customized depending on which dual decks you ordered and how many.
I want to say that after we made the definitive decision, yes, we're making this change, I'm very, very proud of how we did it.
I
We
agree.
were very communicative with the fan base, explained exactly our rationales behind it, why we were doing it, what we were doing, and we provided as many options for them to be able to play with the errata cards as possible. Like you said, we printed the in-house versions of the cards that we gave for free with every Kickstarter order. We didn't have to do that, right?
No,
We did that because we want people to have a good experience with their game, right? That was an
we
extra
could have just
expense,
included a
not
slip of
planned.
paper that said these cards have been errated, print it out yourself, dingus, right? Like,
Right.
no, but I wanted to give people a real physical card. And yes, it has different corners and is like a millimeter wider than the others. But when it's sleeved, you shouldn't be able to notice a difference. And if you are playing unsleeved, you can play the unerrated version in your deck and just keep the errated versions next to you as reference, which you can also do if you print off the image on our website, because the images on the website are all correct and up to date. And we have an errata page. So
And
we
we're
have
Hyper Pro Proxy. Please print our cards. Don't give
I
us
don't want you to
money.
buy my cards. Don't buy my cards. Just download them for free and print them and play with your friends. If you can't afford the product, I still want you to play the game. I can't stress this enough. Please proxy.
We also, at my request, we made it so set 2 in the random foils you can get, you have a chance to get the corrected versions. So what's cool about this, I think this is really neat because it turns us messing up and any future cases of us messing up into a reward for our players, that they get to have these cards as foils as a bonus.
Exactly. So if you're going to be picking up the expansion set packs anyway, which let's be real, most of our fans are. I'm pretty confident in saying that. You'll be collecting the errated versions in foil anyway. But that kind of leads us into the fourth errata, who's weird. We talked about her a little bit. Bamaman, Source of Greed. She was the one that had the typo. She was the one with the attribute typo, and she wasn't included in the dual decks. She was only in the packs. And while we announced all of the erratas publicly at the same time, we had the first 3 like solidified and ready to go. And then right before we like had everything printed and ready to go and we knew exactly what we were going to do, one of our play testers was like, "Hey, this card says cryptid." And I'm like, "Oh, great. Thanks. Good."
Yeah.
But so she did not get an errata card in the Kickstarter. And the thing is that I'm okay with that. I can sleep at night with that because she doesn't come in the dual decks, and it is just a typo on the attribute. It's not her card effect. And the only thing that it actually affects gameplay wise now is one interaction with one other card that isn't even in her color. So we'll live. We'll live. We did what we could. If you are playing with your current Bamamans, again, she's fixed in the master sets and in set 2. So if you're playing with your current Bamamans, just let folks know, hey, that's a demon. That's a demon, not a cryptid. Just let people know. But yeah, that's all of the errata kerfuffle, the other thing I want to say with Kickstarter shipping is this was a very minor issue, but it was an issue. And that's that we kind of staggered the shipping. So some people ended up getting their stuff before others, and it was pretty scattered shot in who got it, because we just went based off of the like standard Kickstarter sort, which is just sorted by a mystic Russian rat as far as I can tell. Like, I don't know what order it is, but that's the order we went in, more or less. We made sure that our game stores got fulfilled first, so that they could have the product as close to launch as possible, because, you know, you got to do right by your stores, man. No, like, if as a toy store owner myself, if you get a toy store to back you, you treat them like a queen, okay? Whatever they want, all right? And so we made sure they got theirs first, and then from there it was pretty scattershot. So there's a little bit of disappointment, where I think some people, their packages are still traveling through the mail, especially for international backers, which, like, to my international backers, I want to give a heartfelt, genuine, like, first off, thank you so much. And also, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't control this. I don't control the mail. I did everything.
Listen,
we really tried.
Rhydon, all we need to do is sell Caster Chronicles NFTs, make $1 billion zillion, and then what we do is our job is to hand deliver them no matter where they are in the world. They order Caster Chronicles, you or I hop on a plane, fly over to them, go, here's your box, sir or ma'am,
I like this.
And then we fly home. It's genius.
It's genius. What could possibly go wrong aside from selling our souls? But and so now I think we're ready to move on to kind of like the other stuff that went wrong with the expansion packs. That one of the goofs was like a really important lesson to learn, and one was just a, man, I don't come on. So what do you, Jacob, I'll let you pick. Do you want to start with the, oh man, come on, or do you want to start with the, hey, this was a really interesting lesson to learn and we're going to fix that going forward?
Man, come on.
Man, come on.
Jeez.
So here it is. I'm going to let everybody know right now, okay? This is public knowledge now. In our first wave of the Kickstarter packs, these are all gone. Every single one has been shipped out. But if you haven't opened your packs yet, squeeze the sides. If you feel one that's a little bit wider, I got good news. It's going to have a higher rarity card in it, because we have 3 different rarities. And I want to be clear, all of the rarities in this game are cosmetic only. You already have the card, it's just not shiny, okay? But cosmetic only. So we had rare, which was casters from the dual decks that came at 2 copies. You could get shiny. Cool. Great. So that helps fill out your caster sets from your dual decks. Then the super rares were alternate arts, very fun, and level 2s from the dual decks, which again, cool. You only had 2 of those in the dual decks. These help fill out your copies. Yay. And then the rarest was the hyper rare, which was an alternate art level 1 Passion Ween, which again, everybody already has. But the ones that are the packs that are slightly wider will have an SR in them.
Oh, no.
Crap.
So that sucks. That's one of those we can't control it kind of things.
Well,
when you're working with an outside manufacturer, sometimes shit just happens. Right?
Shit just happens sometimes. Like
our job is how we react to that and how we fix it. Right.
Right. And so we do have multiple ways to fix it. So immediately once this was found out, because a community member who ordered a bunch of packs, nobody had brought this up. And when me and my packing team were packing it, we were like, oh, some of these packs feel a little bit wider. Whatever. And just that can happen sometimes. So a community member found this out, and, hats off to them. They were super cool about it. Just let us know what the issue was. The second I found out, I'm just like, Rain, hello, Chinese manufacturer. So here's what happened. I'm going to let you guys know exactly what happened. We're very transparent here. So, and this is how they randomize the packs and make sure that everything is as random as possible. They will print the rares then they will print the SRs, then they will print the hyper rare, and then each of these packs are sorted into different hoppers that then get mixed together and put in the boxes and sent to me. So it's all random. Well, they ran the super rares and the rares on 2 different machines, and the settings were slightly off. That's it. That's what happened. And it's like, okay, so now we know, and we're going to control for that and we're controlling for that in this restock of the Kickstarter that's coming in. So that should not be a thing this time. Probably. Might there be some other weird manufacturing goof? Maybe we will do our best to find that before it gets shipped out now. This is the lesson I've learned from this is like, okay, if anything looks even a little weird, we are going to triple check that going forward for everybody. So that, and it like, and you know, not to deflect, because this is ultimately our mistake and specifically my mistake, right? Because, you know, I was the closest one to having the hands on this. And I own that. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like I've had friends work on traditional trading card games with traditional booster boxes, and their boxes come back mapped from the factory, and it's like, that is just a factory error that happens sometimes, and there's only so much you can do about that. Very famously, so I got a bunch of friends from the old MetaZoo days, okay? So slight tangent into a MetaZoo story. Kevin and Vic have told me horror stories about Seance, as you might know, the most famously mapped TCG set of all time, where it was mapped by the case. So you had to buy sealed cases to even get a chance of like not pulling out mapped packs, because like even the boxes within the cases were mapped, and it was just like, I mean, and they ordered tens of thousands of these boxes, and it was like, well, you know, what can you do at that point? So this has been a good lesson learned going forward. So if you haven't opened your Kickstarter packs yet, fun surprise for you, I suppose. And it's one of those things where I know in another card game, it would be, we're lucky because this could have been a much bigger disaster if we were a traditional TCG and rarity and gameplay specific game pieces were tied together. Luckily, they aren't. It's all just cosmetic. And the other thing is that we've already sold through the stock to people that are opening the packs and playing with them, right? So that helps there. And the majority of the packs that we actually sent to our game store partners are packed in those display boxes I showed off in another video earlier. So you can't feel the sides of the packs while they're in the display boxes if they're in the store. So that's all good news. And the thing is that I'm very confident that the 3,000 or so packs we had printed in this Kickstarter run that had this manufacturing error, the vast majority have like already been opened and aren't going to be, scalped or anything. Like these went to people that are playing.
Yeah, and if you try it, I swear to God, I will reprint those cards so hard and I'll give them out to people for free.
Listen, scalpers, okay? If there's one thing we've proved, don't even try it, okay? If we see you scalping this product, okay, it is reprint city. I'm going to make these packs worth nothing, and we've already proven we will print free cards to hand out to people for free. Those errata cards, we didn't have to do that. We just gave people free cards. Try us, punks. You can't scalp this.
No.
So now let's talk about, I think, the big pack mess up that we learned a lesson that I'm so excited for. I'm so excited that we learned this. And that
was a scary day.
It was a scary day. It was a scary day. It was a sad day, but I'm happy with how it has all ended. Jacob, your turn.
You were not around on this day. You have a life outside of Caster Chronicles, as do I. Unfortunately, I would love for us to be full-time Caster Chronicles only, but we have other games, other parts of our lives. We have to go grocery shopping every now and then, right? We can't both or all, including our other team members like Mucci, we can't all be there at all times, right? We gotta take shifts, right? And Mucci and I were hanging out when one of our community members got their packs in and wanted to stream them in the Discord server. So this wasn't like a public like Twitch stream or like on YouTube. This was them just streaming to the other members of the community, just opening their polls, right? And they open their first pack and it's nothing, right? Nothing special, right? They opened their second pack as we're joking about because they really wanted to pull the hyper rare card, right? And they pulled a hyper rare, and we're just like, whoa, oh my god, Poggies, right? Oh, you got it, right? At that time period, only one hyper rare had already been pulled by someone, at least, who had shared their pulls. So this was the second we knew of being pulled, and we're like, whoa, Poggies, so cool, right? And then we were joking like, oh, now you got to get a second one. Ha ha ha. They opened their next pack and they got another one. Okay. Now I am anxious. I'm scared. I am already messaging you like, hey, so when you get around, we should talk about this, right? I'm gonna keep an eye on this situation. They open their next pack and they get a super rare alt art. Cool. They open their next pack and they get another hyper rare.
Yeah.
They open their next pack and they get another alt art. And then another alt art. And I'm like, oh my god, it's over. It's over, right? This is nuclear panic. We're freaking out, right? While being very happy for them. This is a really, really cool member of our community. And I'm very happy that if anyone was going to get stack pulls, I'm glad it was them, right? And naturally, the question became of like clumping. Are all the good packs going to one person? And our stance after looking at all the data is no, because everything's random.
Right. So I'm very, very confident in, and I want to reassure everybody listening to this. I am supremely confident that the packs were given out at random. I promise with all of my heart that they were randomized at the factory, and when we got them in, we randomized them even more, okay?
Like with Apple having to change how their shuffle system worked to make it feel more random, because actual random doesn't feel random, right? This was a case of, because of, again, that triangle of cheap, fast, and quality, right? Because of how we had done our products, we did not have them in booster boxes. Where your pulls are fixed, where you open 30 packs, you're guaranteed one hit, right? Like how Bandai does things, right? It became true Wild West, and some people might find that really exciting. It's much like people who open Pokemon cards. If you get like the flat pack boxes, right, where it's like 4 packs plus a promo or a tin or something like that. If you're opening anything that's not a booster box, those have no fixed rates. It's truly random what you get.
It's Wild West like that. So what we did is basically to save on cost, because like we talked about, to save on cost genuinely, what we did was we basically, instead of printing, heavily collated booster boxes, we just printed blisters.
Yeah.
Would be the way to describe it in normal TCG terms. And that's cool and that's great. But now it is true random, and true random doesn't always feel good for everybody. And it was something where, we got back that feedback of like, hey, this, we had the feedback a little bit ahead of time where some people were concerned about it. And we're like, we hear you. We're going to try this. Let's sort of see how this goes. But it was something that was always in our mind of like, this could be an issue. And then definitively, yes.
What I want to say is, this ended up becoming really sad for me, because in the first few days of people pulling their polls, showing their posts, there was no commentary on rarities. People were just going, look at all these amazing cards I got, right? Regardless of if they hit a big fancy smancy alt art, or if they just got regular quote unquote packs, like dud packs, you'd call them. There was no concern over that. And then the community began really diving deep into, okay, what are the ratios for this like this rarity versus this rarity versus this rarity, as TCG fans tend to do, as collectors tend to do.
Right? Which is fine.
But then that got to the point where the same people who were casually just posting their polls would like, hey, here's the cool cards I got, and the response would be, oh, you didn't get any super rares,
Right.
right? And it would
Even
make
if
them feel bad,
they, and it was a situation where nobody did anything wrong. I really want to hammer that
right?
home. Nobody did anything wrong, but because we had rarities for these cosmetic only foils, I have to hammer this home. Basically everybody already has these cards. They're just not the shiny ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like over these cosmetic foils, people started to feel bad, and the entire reason why they felt bad, and the core issue we realized after we discussed this, Jacob, is, oh, why are these cosmetic foils rarer than any other cosmetic foils?
Yeah. So what it was all a vibes thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're TCG fans. We like to gamble every now and then, and there's the excitement of opening a pack and getting something cool, something that you were sought after. We have members of our community who got really, really excited about random cards, right?
Yes.
Had nothing to do with rarity, nothing to do with that, and they're just like, this cool card, right?
Yeah. Shout out to our one community member that really just wants all the shiny Merlins. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Huge respect. That's awesome.
So what we decided, and this is how things are going to be going forward, is there is no rarity when it comes to the foil placement. You get 2 foils at random, okay? Now, you might, as a TCG brain person here, go, oh my god, but my rarities, I want the chase. You're still getting the chase. If anything, the chase is going to be more fun. We've done the math. So what this actually means isn't that big of a change with how our rarities work. Your hyper rare card for the set will be slightly more common than it was before, which I actually think is a good thing. I don't want people buying 200 packs to try and chase this thing down, right?
Right.
I don't want people like that. But the super rares barely see any difference to their rarities. It actually just smooths the rarity curve out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the way this works now is you open a pack, you get your cluster. We're sticking with the clusters. They're actually really great with what we've seen experience-wise. Our game store partners love them.
To just pat myself on the back here, that cluster thing, I was my original brainchild, and that worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm. So you get your cluster, and you get 2 random foils. And let's say there are 40 foils in the set. All of them are at the same rarity, including the alternate art cards and the hyper rare. So the hyper rare is slightly more common, which I'm happy about. And other than that, your excitement and pulls are based on what you actually want to play, what you actually want to collect, not off of the arbitrary, this is so rare. Some people might not like that. I would argue that is because you have been brainwashed by the TCG industry to respect a triple R on a card or an R with a star more than your actual feelings about the card.
And what's funny, right, is we didn't even print SR or R or HR on any of the cards, man. We didn't even do that. And like, I'm not even going to be as harsh as you on saying like, you've been brainwashed, which funny, good bit. No, but like the way I see it is this makes it more to what my original vision was. And this is where I completely own. I goofed up because I was in charge of product design. I put in these rarities and I'm going to own it, without really thinking that much about it, because it was the norm. It was the standard. And I was like, oh, well, of course some cards have to be rarer than others. No. And that makes it more to I've talked about many times how I love TCGs for the gameplay, for the community, for the inherent story building that it builds, for everything around it except for the gambling and the business model. And this removes more of what I don't like about trading card games. Mm-hmm. And I have one more announcement for you when it comes to the foils in EXO2. I don't even know if I've told Jacob, but the hyper rare in set 1.
I know. I'm excited.
You know. Okay. The hyper rare in set 1 just has the yellow foiling for its text. The hyper rare in set 2 is going to have that text as hot stamp gold embossing. So
So good.
it is still going to be the chase card, but it is now just, it's not going to be seated at a higher rarity. It's going to be the same.
Right.
It's going to
We
be
want
mixed in the same.
people to be able to pull it without buying 250 booster packs to get it, right?
I want
It'll
more people
be
to have the cool card.
1 out of 40, right? Imagining we're using 40 different foils, which is kind of typical for us as of right now, but that
for set 2 it is
in the future.
For
right?
set 2 it is. It might change in the future. For set 2 it is 40.
So it is 1 out of 40 packs. You will get that moment with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that 1 out of 40 is the same for every other cosmetic foil.
Exactly. It's the same
You're
for all of them.
You're still getting the same amazing pulls. And in fact, I will say, I think our premium alt arts and special cards like that are going to be getting better.
I agree. I think this just makes everything better and more fun for more people. And I'm really, really happy and excited about this change. So ultimately, this is something that I'm glad happened because it taught us something and it made the product better. And this is what we're talking about of every time we're going to just keep improving. And I want you guys to try this with set 2, give it a shot, and let us know what you think. If there's something else you're wanting, let us know, and we want to talk about it.
And I'll say, not ready to announce this detail yet, but you know what I'm talking about. We have other things for those who really like super premium, special, truly chase epic, amazing cards. Dog, you are gonna go nuts in a couple of months when we're ready to announce what we're cooking.
We have a lot. We have a lot that we're working on. And I'm so excited about it, and I'm really, really happy with everything that's happened. And you know, I think to leave some advice with the, you know, other game devs that are watching this that maybe do watch my content and TCG Buzz's content for that kind of advice. Take your failures in stride. Own what you didn't do right. Do everything you can to fix it and make it good to your customers. And do better next time. And that's being human. You know
what I know I said it felt nice before, right? But every time we get praise for, oh, it's really great that I can get a hold of you guys, or wow, you guys are really trying to give players value, or wow, you guys really care about this game, or we've gotten a lot of those. And I'll tell you, every time we get something like that, we share it privately and just be like, this makes me feel nice, right? But every time there's a little twinge of sadness with it, because I just wish every TCG could be like that. I wish we weren't special.
Right.
I wish Konami cared about their artist relationships as much as we do.
Yeah.
I wish that Bushiroad cared about getting super special high-end cards to their players as much as we do. I wish that Magic the Gathering gave a crap about card foiling like we do, or like card curling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I wish we weren't special.
Oh, that's something else cool that I have to share about set 2. Something else cool. Oh, we're going to get a new foil pattern. There's going to be a foil pattern that's different than the set 1 foil pattern. I'm really excited.
Can I actually spoil what it is? We had a long conversation about this. What's fun is Rhydon has thousands of foiling samples in his collection because we need them often for what we do. And what he will do when we're talking about a new set, we have several foil patterns for the future planned out, spoilers, is he will pick one on his own and then ask me to pick one from our entire catalog. And for set 2s, we were in 1-for-1 agreement. We picked the same one independently. Because we are doing the gifted program as our set 2. It is themed around the students that excel, but also might not excel in other areas. Raise your hand if you were a gifted kid. Raise your hand if you were a gifted kid. Raise your hand if you've been diagnosed. We are using a star foil pattern for that set because it's gold stars. You're getting a gold star in school, just like SpongeBob. It's a SpongeBob reference, everybody.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I like that, actually. I'm going to choose to believe that in my heart.
I know I want to be a good noodle in school.
Gosh,
you know what's funnier than 24?
25.
So that is one of those details that you I'm not trying to toot our horn too much. Again, I wish every company was like this. We do stuff like that because it brings us joy.
Yeah.
We do that because Bushiroad used to do that in Cardfight Vanguard, and then they abandoned it, but that's a whole other story.
Like, that's the thing, is like, I look at, whenever we do something, I think about, well, what would I want as a guy playing this game? I want cool foil patterns. Let's do that. I want hot stamped cards. Let's do that. I want, you know what? Rarities are cringe. Let's get rid of them. Stuff like that. And and on the flip side of that, of like, no game's perfect and every game's going to do something that rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there are people that look at what we're doing and we say, hey, I understand why you're doing what you're doing. I don't like that. And they're going to potentially go on to another game and see another game doing something similar and say, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's a terrible idea because Speedrobo Games did that, right? And I expect that to happen because that's just part of the flow of the way that it is. And
but yeah, I feel like as we've interacted with our community and as they've gotten more used to, in particular, started to trust us, right? We've built up that rapport that we're going to do what we can to make things right no matter what. How many times have we when we didn't have to, sent out replacement orders for people?
well, I'm doing that literally tonight, actually.
Right. We're not here to go, yeah, we're stealing your money. What's that, Sonny? You want a new card? You're going to have to pay up. No, we just want people to enjoy Caster Chronicles like we do. And
Play the
sometimes
game.
that has actually caused friction because we didn't have that relationship with the fans yet to back up what we say. We did from other games, but a lot of the times the people we were interacting with didn't come from our other games.
Right.
They
this
came
was their
from-
first, this was their first experience with us. Like, the Rift Runners community knows that when we're like, we are going to do some bomb diggity reprints of these staples, they're just like, that they are. When like, another good example is Rift Runners, where, because we work really, really closely with that game. They're one of our sister games. When our business partner, Void or us, says, hey, so we're running low on this. We are going to reprint the crap out of this product so everybody can get some. Everybody's like, yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. We know it. Necromancers, people know they.
Yeah, many times.
Yeah.
So many times the argument I've heard when we try to do something or experiment with something or try to make something open and playable with our players, we open source something, when we release proxies, so many of the times we do something or like say, hey, here's something we're thinking of, the feedback we get is, if Yu-Gi-Oh did this, they would hurt me. If Yu-Gi-Oh did this, they would scam us in X or Y way. And the response that I can't always give is, yeah, but we're not that.
Exactly.
And with time,
I get
think
that it's going to take time to build that relationship. And that's why I really want to say, I hope that we've really been putting our best foot forward to do right by everybody. I know that we don't always nail it. We just talked about everything we screwed up, for example. Yeah. We aren't perfect by any means, but when we do screw up, we really, really, really do our best to correct it. And we do everything we can to make it right by you. And I hope that we have been demonstrating that. And if you feel that way, then you know what? You should hit subscribe and like this
Thanks
video.
For the plug, buddy.
This was a plug the whole time. We are actually the mustache twirling villains. We are just after your money and engagement. Woo!
It's funny because you and I had a conversation last night where I'm like, I don't like talking about our stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
I don't like bragging. I don't like sitting here and saying, yeah, here's the cool thing I did. Here's the cool thing I did.
I know that's going to sound so fucking insane, considering this entire episode has just been a, tooting our own horn festival, right?
So I want to end this by shouting out everyone. Okay. First of all, to the content creators we have worked with You're all amazing. We have a playlist here on TCG Buzz that I maintain. When people do coverage of Caster Chronicles, they get added to the playlist. Please give it a binge. There have been so many amazing people we've worked with, like Moxie and Tama and Red Zone Rogue and 1,000 others. I wish I had the time to shout out individually. Right.
The list is huge.
Thank you to our player base, the people who are brewing decks, to all of the people who played in our most recent online tournament. Thank you so much. Thank you to the people running the Caster Church. Well, I don't know what the deal with that. That's kind of, you guys are...
And there's so many. Well, I mean, speaking of that, like that just is lumped in with all the fan projects that are going on right now. I don't even remember how many fan projects are happening right now. That's how many fan projects are happening.
We're getting fan cards. We're getting simulators. We're getting deck builders. We're getting people updating old resources, helping us find things. We're getting people playtesting. We're developing new formats. We're doing so much awesome stuff, and we can only do it because of our fans.
Yeah, I literally typed up the rules for like a 2-headed giant format yesterday or the day before, I think, because somebody was like, I want to run 2-headed giant. I'm like, I here, go nuts, have fun.
And I am so excited to share. And also, sorry, I keep forgetting people we need to shout out. We got a shout out to our business partners, TCG Co. They've been wonderful to work with, an absolute dream. I got a shout out to the people who visited us at Origins Game Fair and embraced the memes and received hundreds of free promos, because that's how we do, right? The people who play tested the game,
we showed so many promos into those magazines that people would hold them around and it would just like urinate cards onto the floor like a waterfall. That
We've
was
got people
so
making meta-analysis videos about our game. We've got so many amazing things going on, and I want to shout out every single one of them. And the fact that I can't is one of the greatest blessings of my life ever. This is one of the coolest times in my life, and it has been so wonderful just to talk about this game and experience it with people, warts and all.
Yeah.
Right?
I have the best job in the world, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's thanks to everybody who makes that possible. So, what I want you to do is I want you to keep in contact with us, and I want you to say, what's up? Just what's going on? Just keep doing that. Keep doing that and keep playing the game. However it is you play the game. If you just proxy everything forever and you do not spend a dime on Caster Chronicles, good. Keep doing that.
Go play in tabletop sim, yo.
Yep. Go play in tabletop sim.
Webcam with printed cards.
Webcams.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. I don't know. Crack out your old decks. Don't even buy anything new. Just play your old stuff. Play Alumni with the boys. Go nuts. Have your extra decks.
I've got the perfect way to end this video, right?
Hit me.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
In about 5 seconds, a giant mass pile of Pentachi is going to appear on screen. Actually, question, is the plural of Pentachi or Pentachis? Or Pentapodes or Pentaches?
Pentapi.
Pentapi? I like Pentapi.
Pentapi.
So, here is the massive
Oh no! I'm drowning in burns.
Great acting. 10
that was
out of
good.
10.
We did it. I'm proud of everybody.